Ooh, what's this? A deck profile where Bacon actually knows where he's talking about? That's right. Talking about Genesis today. Standard Genesis, to be precise. And, I'll give a little backstory. I originally wasn't thinking about... I was kind of thinking about building Genesis. I went to the sneak peek, I opened Sheet of Terahime, and I was like, alright, that's cool, maybe I'll build it. This seems okay. It's kind of neat, something new, something I've never played Genesis before in my life, so, like, that'd be cool. And, like, some other people... I saw, like, 2 or 3 other people were building it, and I was like, I don't want to intrude on their territory, I won't build it. And then I bought 2 boxes. First box you saw we opened on camera. We got Leopold, whatever. The second box that I unboxed off camera, we opened this lovely lady. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I proxied out the rest of the, and then with those 2 boxes, I had most of the deck. I was missing like 14 cards. It wasn't much. So I already had most of the deck, so I proxied it out. I played tested with a buddy, and holy crap, I love this deck. Himiko is my new waifu. Don't at me. This deck's amazing. It's really good. I would say it's really good. It's one of the most fun decks I've played in a very long time. I enjoy this deck wholeheartedly. So let's get right into this with our main girl, Himiko. Himiko's a great card. Don't ride anything but Himiko. If you ride something other than Himiko, you're bad. And you're doing poorly. So, Himiko's abilities. Act once per turn. You can Soul Blast 5, put a crit or a draw trigger from your soul into the bottom of your deck, and that trigger effect activates for each grade of your opponent's Vanguard. Most of the time it's going to be 3. Most of the time. This card's... It's so good. There's so many ways in this deck to reduce the cost, so you can actually do this for free. Just, like, send a crit to bottom, give the front row plus 10k and a crit. She's kind of the centerpiece of this deck, I thought. And then I started really playing around with it, and I realized I only end up using her skill once, maybe twice a game. And then I start using my soul for other things, just like plussing, staying alive. Another card you'll see who I'm in love with. Himiko's really good. You want to be on her, but her skill isn't necessarily the namesake of the deck. It's all of the cards that kind of culminate around her and kind of help her do what she does best. So, yeah, she is a waifu, and we have the most beautiful SC. Like, this looks so pretty. I love this so much. I need to, like, who knows? If I love this deck enough, maybe I'll SCR the entire deck out. Probably not, but this looks pretty. On to the other grade 3s. We first play 3 copies of Iwanagi Hime. It's a secondary ride target, which helps when you whiff your Himikos. And it's actually not a bad skill. It's, act once per turn, Soul Blast 3, draw a card, put a card from your hand into Soul, and increase its power by 2 times the shield. It's a good way to plus. What I like to do sometimes is if I have, a way to reduce it, if I have a way to make this free, I'll, ride it before Himiko, and I'll put, like, a draw or a crit, and this lets me set up my Soul. So if I don't have a draw or crit in Soul, I can draw a card, and then send one from hand to Soul. That way next turn I can go into Himiko and do it. It's a setup you sometimes want to go into, not very often. You mainly want to be hitting Himiko. So this card's fine. I don't think I'll end up cutting it. There's nothing else, like, better to play. So right now she does her job fine. Most of the time she's kind of just PG fodder. The last grade 3. Ugh, dropped a card. 3 copies of, I forget your name, Goddess of the Milky Way, Pleione? I don't know. She's a grade 3 waifu. She's really good. I gotta start centering this stuff. She's basically an OGT card. No gift, act, Vanguard Rearguard. Placed, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, put a card from among them into your soul, and put two cards among them on top of your deck in any order. So not only does this stack the top of your deck, but it also lets you filter your soul. It lets you put either put crits and draws to soul, or if you see like a bunch of triggers on top, just take whatever non-triggers in there, shove it to soul, get a +1, and then double trigger your opponent's death, which is always hilarious. My favorite thing is seeing card, draw PG cards. It's like, alright, cool. Shove one of the random cards to soul, put the draw PG on top, so I'll just draw into the other card, and then whatever the heck else I check is great. So this card is actually amazing. I don't run it at 4 because I don't want to, like, accidentally have to ride it. I had to do that once and I lost because you don't want to ride this. but you want to be seeing this enough that you can filter soul and set up and stack the top of your deck. It's a really good card. On to grade 2s. You play 4 copies. Sahuhime. She's pretty spicy. She's like Iwanagi Hime. She's when placed, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2, draw 2 cards, put a card from hand into your soul, and increase its power by the shield of the cards on a turn. She's really nice. It kind of sucks. The Soul Blast 2 kind of hurts because you want to save your soul for Himiko. There is a card in here that makes this a lot better, but it's nice to be able to go +2, charge the soul, and be able to set it up with crits while also giving her power. So, like, if you're really down, or if you either have a way to make Himiko free, or you're just really down on soul, going into her on your grade 2 turn, using the skill to just get +2 to hand, shove 1 to soul, and then just fix your soul, so that when you go into Himiko, you can do it more efficiently. This card's really nice. She also can make really good grade 2 push turns. Pretty good all-star of the deck is, Chita Hime. She's great. She's, act, Counterblast 1 until end of turn, reduce the next time you Soul Blast by 2. This is an act skill, not an on place. I'm an idiot. Wow, look at me rediscovering Genesis cards, like, after playtesting the deck a bunch. Act, Counterblast 1 until end of turn, reduce the next time you Soul Blast by 2, and one of your other units gets +3. She's great. She's what lets you go into Satoru Hime. For Sahuhime, you can go into for a Counterblast 2 instead of a Soul Blast 2. It's really nice. The +3 is whatever. You mainly use her to reduce Sahuhime, Iwanagi Hime, or Himiko skills. And since this deck, you only use, like, her, a couple other cards to Counterblast. You can even CB2 to reduce things by 4 if you really want to. Which is really nice. I like this card a lot. She's really fun. Play her at 4. Another card you should always play at 4 is Hanzo, or Strong Bow of the Starry Sky Ulysses, I think. I just call it Hanzo because I can't bother to pronounce that. This card's fantastic. You want to talk about like setting up soul. At the end of the battle that it attacked, a Vanguard, put it into soul, draw a card, and soul charge 1. So you go +2 to soul, +1 to hand for just swinging. This card's amazing. I love this card. It's so good. Especially in your grade 2 turn when you're about to go into Himiko. Getting to go +2 to soul and already have just 5 in there when you ride. It's beautiful. On to grade 1s, a card that really makes your plays. Is it Mihikari Hime? I might have remembered it. Mihikari Hime. She's great. On place, when placed from hand, the next time you would Soul Blast is reduced by 3. So she makes, whoopsie daisies. Her by herself makes Iwanagi Hime free. She makes Shidetaro Hime. She makes Sahuhime free. She makes she almost makes Himiko free. Like her plus Shidetaro Hime. Use her skill. Use this. Reduce it by 5. Boom. Himiko's free. So this is a great Soul Blast reduction card. I really love it. It's what makes this deck work. If you didn't have this card, this deck wouldn't work. Like just hands down. You can't soul charge enough to facilitate Soul Blasting 3, Soul Blasting 5, you know, all the time. Like, Himiko's basically a Soul Blast 6, because you're losing that crit too. So, like, you need that reduction. And what also helps that reduction is Witch of Cat's-Cumin. Her abilities, when placed, Counterblast 1, rest her. I gotta read this. And return one of your stand rear guards to hand, or put a card from drop into soul. I never put a card from drop to soul. That's kind of stupid. Maybe I should be doing it more. That actually might be good for setting up Himiko, but that's stupid. You use this to bounce your, like, Mihikari Himes and, like, your on-place Soul Blast reduction cards. There's one more card you can bounce with this. We'll get into that later. But, like, this is, like, you go, like, call Mihikari Hime, do your Himiko, next turn, call this, bounce Mihikari Hime, call it again, get another reduction. So this helps you recycle your on-place effects, which is really nice. And this deck doesn't Counterblast a lot, so you rarely feel bad about using Counterblast on it. For the last grade 1, we have the absolute all-star of the deck. Witch of Frogs, Melissa. Where do I start? Actually, I know where to start. That's with the skill. Skill is, auto, when placed from hand. Cost. Soul Blast 3. Your opponent looks at the same number of cards from the top of his or her deck as the number of his or her rearguards, calls them to rearguard with units, and shuffles the deck. Your opponent's abilities do not activate from this call. I love this card so much. This is my favorite card in all of Vanguard right now. It's so much fun. What you do is you can call it memeage Karahime, make it free, which is great. It's a Soul Blast 3. Call it, pay the cost however you want. So let's say your opponent is playing an Excel clan, right? They're playing Excel. They have 2 Excel circles, a full field, right? The field's pretty great. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, right? Well, now what they have to do is take 7 cards from the top of their deck, call it over their board. Half of those are going to be triggers. Now their board is garbage, and they just went -7 to deck. That's right. I don't win. Genesis, when I play Genesis, I don't win by going into Himiko, giving my front wheel crits, and beating them to death. I win by decking them out. And it's so much fun. The greatest play ever is you have 3 cards in Soul, right? You call me Karahime. You are like, let's say you already have this on board, right? Used it last turn. You got 7 cards, and you got 3 cards in Soul. So let's say like, here's the greatest play ever. All you need these 3 in hand. And your opponent's on that Excel circle, right? They got a full field. This is your hand. What you do? Call me Karahime. Call Melissa. Use her skill for free. Alright? Then you call Witch of Cats Cumin. Use her skill. Rest yourself. Bounce Melissa back to hand. Call Melissa again. And then use the 3 cards in Soul to do it again. Your opponent just went -14. Your opponent just milled 14 cards out of their deck. All for what? A counter blast and calling 3 cards? Like, why? I like cards so much. I can go on and on about it. Just being able to disrupt your opponent's board is so great. Just making them like call triggers from the top of the deck. It feels so good. The focuses on Excel clans. Any deck that draws, so like DIs, like Great Nature, this destroys, Tachikaze, any Excel clan. Like, it's... I cannot sing enough praises for this card. I love this card. I will always love this card. Any Genesis deck I build, this will always be in there at 1. I don't care. I'm always playing this card at 1 in any Genesis deck I play. Because I love it that much. It will be a pet card for eternity. Like, Melissa's my girl. Back to the deck. For triggers, we go 6 crit, and then 6 draw, 4 of which your draws are your draw PGs, because draw PGs are good. I play the 6-6 split because you really want to be seeing both, because you need crits and draws equally for Himiko's skill. So like, I don't want to skew an end. Seeing both is great because the plus is awesome and the crits are always good. So I like 6-6. It's the most ideal version to run. If you're not running 6-6, I don't know what's wrong with you. And then of course 4 heal. Because it's a force clan. Like, it's a force clan. You either go 8 front, 4 draw, or you go 6-6. Like, that's all you can do. So I like the 6-6. It feels nice. And then for our starter, we don't run it. We don't run a starter. We don't run the Artemis starter. Instead, our starter is Talisman Angel. That's right. We start on the draw trigger. Why do we start on the draw trigger? Because what always happens every time is you ride Himiko, and you're ready. You're ready to do the Soul Blast on your grade 3 ride. Your opponent's like 2 damage. They're on grade 3. Your opponent's like 2 damage, right? You're ready to Himiko, but you never have a draw in Soul. Because like a lot of my effects are like put a card from hand to Soul, and it gets power from the shield. Well, your PG is not only your main line of defense, they also have 0 shield, so you're just soul charging for no reason. Soul charging PGs from hand feels really bad in this deck, and I hate to do it. Even with like whatever the grade, I always forget the grade 3's name. The grade 3, like if you check the top 3 and you see this, soul charging it feels bad because you're losing a +1 on the drive check from checking a draw trigger and a PG to hand. I don't want to soul charge my draws, so I always end up riding Himiko. Maybe I'll have a crit in Soul, but I don't want to waste Himiko's ability to Soul Blast. I don't want to waste my Soul Blast 6 to get a crit but my opponent's at 2 damage. Because what they're always going to do is alright, cool, I'll take 1, go to 4, and then guard the other 2. Big whoop, you just wasted the Soul Blast 6 on not a great push. You want to save your crits for when your opponent's at 4, and now absolutely has to guard every single one of your swings. And by that late game, you'll have ridden Himiko twice or 3 times on the Force Gifts. You have a real board, so you have actually power pressure. So, critting on your first ride is bad. It doesn't feel good. So, like, when I see that just a crit in Soul, I'd be like, alright, cool, I'm just not going to Himiko. I'll just do some really suboptimal plays and swing. So, if we can't get the draw in Soul, why don't we just start with the draw in Soul? And most people complain like, oh, but you're losing your +1 from Artemis. Well, yeah, but I'm sacrificing my immediate +1 for a late game +3, which feels a lot better than the early +1, which we don't really need. So, I really like starting on the starter. Also, this gives me more space to play on the grade 1s at more copies. Because, like, almost every card in this deck is important. Like, besides Iwanagi Hime, there isn't a card you, like, don't want to see at a given, or maybe Saho Hime. Saho Hime and Iwanagi Hime are kind of cards that are okay. Anything besides that, you're happy to see at any time, because it always has a use. There's always something you can do with it. Maybe Cumin. Cumin has some cases where she isn't that great, but a lot of the time she's pretty good. So by starting on the draw, you already have that draw in Soul, so when you do go into your Himiko turn, you already have the draw, you can Soul Blast it out, draw 3, and now you're giving 10k the front row. But what you're doing is in that turn, you're going at least +5, because you'll have gotten the 3 draws off of this, and your 2 draws off your drive checks. Now you're at +5, your hand is huge, and you're ready for your opponent's grade. You're ready for the rest of the game, basically. And now what you can do is with your massive hand, you can guard your opponent's attacks more effectively, and then you can play the rest of the game. Most of the time, I don't even use Himiko's skill for the rest of the game. I want to focus my Soul Blast on Melissa to try to play the long game, stall him out, deck him out, and then if I see the opportunity where they're at 4, I'll Himiko, Soul Blast the crits, and beat in. Because a lot of the times I'll Soul Blast the draw. Next turn I want to have a crit in Soul. Alright, cool. I'll just use my Soul on other skills. But yeah, so like if I see the opportunity, I'll go for Himiko for game, but most of the time Melissa is doing a lot of the work. Unless I don't see Melissa, then I have to use Himiko. But yeah, I think starting on the draw is incredibly beneficial. Another funny thing you can do is if you're playing against someone you've like never played against before, you can start with the draw trigger and make them think that you're just like stupid. You know what starters are? Like, oh yeah, start with the draw trigger, right? You know, make them think you don't know what you're talking about. So then that way they don't see you coming with your pro plays. I think you can white boy can't jump them. If any of you have seen that movie, make them think you're garbage and then Shrek them with your awesome Secret Tech Genesis skills. That's always funny. And then gifts. We play 4 gifts. I have 2 of the Himiko gifts because both of my Answer of Truth boxes came with the Himiko gifts. This was another sign that I should build the deck. So 2 Himiko gifts, 2 regular gifts. These both also all of these gifts came with the 2 boxes, so I play them for luck. I don't know. I never hit 4. I've only hit 3 is the most I've hit in terms of gifts. The game has never gone that long. But I play 4 just in case. Yeah, that's the deck profile. Himiko is a card that I love. Genesis is a clan that I'm absolutely loving right now. It's like, now I have to split my time between Genesis, Neo Nectar, and Narukami once it drops. So we'll see how that goes, but thanks to Bermuda, there's a massive set break, so I can just, for 3 months, just cycle between Genesis, Narukami, and Neo Nectar. And it's gonna be some good times. I would highly recommend, if you like really versatile decks that can pivot easily between offense and defense, Genesis is a really fun clan to pick up. It's kind of skill intensive. You really have to know how to manage your soul properly, and what effects to use, when to Melissa, when not to Melissa. But I find that learning experience. I really like playing complicated decks. I find that learning experience really valuable. And I think it's a really fun deck. You should totally play it. And thanks to me loving Genesis, I've been considering picking up Premium Genesis, which is going to be Wiseman Loop. And something to help with that was this $2 Wiseman SP, this Fenrir SP I found for $2 on TCG Player. So, go pick yourself up some Fenrir SPs, because they're only $2. So be on the lookout. Possible Wiseman Loop deck profile. I'm still deciding between that and a different premium deck you might be seeing. I gotta talk it over with some people and see what kind of trades I can make, but be on the lookout for Premium Genesis if it happens. Might not, but you know, something to keep you on your toes for when the next new Nexus video drops. So yeah, be sure to slap that subscribe button, like, comment, and I don't know, subscribe to PewDiePie.